Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome back to the What the Teams Are Working On blog article from Creative Assembly. In the first video I made, I went over the DLC pack speculation on what we could do. This generated a lot of really good discussions and content, so I'm really glad about that. Again, it's all speculation, so we don't really know anything at all, just seeing what in the picture, the one person that they supplied for us. But I'm going to go ahead and get into the historical Flashpoint team. I had already recorded this section, as well as my speculation for the historical, the next major historical title, but I've been sick recently, and so getting into it hasn't been an issue. And then when I went into it, the audio was messed up, so I'm having to re-record it, but that's alright. So I've kind of refined my process just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and read the article, and then we'll dive into some speculation. The historical Flashpoint team were pleased to say that our plans for a new standalone title have come to fruition, and this team is now in full production on an exciting new release. We are planning to set this in an era we have already visited, but will cover a particular period we are very fond of and haven't done enough justice to yet. We've been thinking a lot about how our major releases cover eras, our character-based follow-ups span the events of iconic lives like Napoleon or Attila, but that we are also interested in Flashpoint moments, these shorter, intense periods where events could have unfolded in any direction, dramatically changing the course of history in only a handful of months or years. The fall of the samurai, being based on the Boshin War, is a great example of this, and we are planning this new title to be similar in intent. It will also arrive before the next major historical title that the team above are working on. So first of all, I just want to emphasize it is amazing that we have 3 teams working on 3 historical titles. I think it's going to kind of quell the idea that they are only focused on Warhammer, that fantasy is all they're going towards because it's making them the most money. I think that's kind of out the window because they're working on 3 titles, potentially both this Flashpoint Team 1 and the DLC pack coming out before the major historical release, which I'm also okay with because it means they are wanting to dedicate a lot of work, really refine the major historical title, and if that means bringing out 2 smaller games before the bigger one, I'm more than happy to deal with that. But some of the things we can imply here, it's set in an era they've already done. So we have Japan, which I very highly doubt, since they already have a standalone title, as they mentioned. Very highly doubt it's going to be in there, which leaves the medieval period, the Roman period, and the empirical age. There's 2 main things that they've already done that I think they could redo and be more focused and really bring out some good content. So the 2 main historical titles that I think would make some great standalone titles, I'm going to first and foremost Alexander the Great's campaign. They did this in Rome 1, and it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was a little more difficult than the original game just because of how focused it was. You didn't have a lot of time to do stuff, but I think if they remade the Alexander the Great campaign and put it into Attila's engine, things like that, because I doubt they're going to come out with a new engine before the major historical release. So unless they sneak in that engine into one of these Flashpoint team things, I don't think we're going to see the new engine. So basically, Alexander the Great in the Attila mechanics would actually be pretty cool. I really enjoy, I like that idea. I love the Alexander the Great campaign, and just it's super micro. Now, in terms of the time period, in terms of length, that's what, around 10 years? So it isn't as focused as the Boshin War, which I believe was only technically like a year long. But I think still it's covering a time period they've done. I'm fond of it, and they haven't done enough justice because it was kind of glossed over and shallow. There wasn't a whole bunch of deep mechanics to that campaign. So that's my first and foremost one. The second one that I would be most excited to see would be the American Revolution. The American Revolution obviously revolutionized the world, just like Alexander the Great's campaign. If we wouldn't have won, then I wouldn't probably be here talking to you. Who knows? But for them to redo it, it was a tutorial in Empire Total War, so I feel if they redid a campaign, it would be that one. They could add some great depth to it, really focus on it, add some great mechanics, as well as bring back the Empire setting, which I know a lot of people are begging for. Without going into Victoria Total War, it would be a good way to judge just how their mechanics are. this late in the period. I don't remember when Fall of the Samurai came out, but just that idea of getting back into the Empire setting, I think would please a lot of people. And the American Revolution is a pretty stinking cool thing. The only other thing I can think of would maybe even be the Civil War, but that's going way far into the empirical kind of era, and that wouldn't really work. Now, of course, there are some other micro periods that are in the same time thing. You've got a whole bunch of medieval places. We could do the Crusades. I don't really see that doing that because that's more than one crusade, spans a lot of years, and it wouldn't really make sense. We could do kind of a War of the Roses kind of a deal, as well as that was a pretty historically significant point in time for England. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below what kind of era you think they could do as a standalone Flashpoint team title that has already been covered but just hasn't had enough justice done to it yet. Now you got to remember, we're pretty much knocking out Japan. We can't go into China because they haven't gone into there yet. We can't go into Africa because they haven't done that. We could potentially see another South or Central American campaign, which would actually be pretty cool. I didn't think of that until I was just brainstorming in my head. So kind of that Aztec, Spanish conquistador thing, that would actually be pretty interesting as well. But that, again, that's kind of more in getting close to the end of the medieval period. That's kind of a gray area. But comment section, let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Haven't already hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Make sure to check out my Patreon, where for $1 a month you can help support the channel. This is Havoc, and I'm out of here. Peace!